Oh, we're live.
Cool.
Welcome to the Island of Relevancy. I'm not gonna like Dom has me all self conscious about the name now because he's actually got it right a few times.
He got it
The
right what?
last few, no, the last few times on his live stream, which he's actually live streaming now. The Ace Avenue is live streaming the Yankee game right now. But stay here though, because we need
Yeah.
the viewers more than he does.
Yeah, no, nobody needs to watch the Yankees right now anyway.
Whoa, hold on.
No, it's okay. It happens.
I hear myself again. I don't know why I keep
Oh,
doing
do you
that.
have the video? When you posted the link, do you have the video still running?
Yeah, I had to
I
turn
did
it
that
off.
too just for a second.
But you have now reached the Island of Relevancy. I am your boy T. We got Frank in the building, and this is, man, we are so on the road right now. This is a great week of content, great week of wrestling, great week of promos.
It
Like
really, really was. It
good times.
this was a hell of a week. I can't wait to dig into the big one, but I mean,
Well, we'll get started on this one was pretty big too, actually. We had SmackDown came through with some big stuff, and I didn't even pull up my SmackDown notes.
no, I so one of the things while you're pulling up your notes, one of the things that I saw was, and people, we you know how he was saying that Raw's found the perfect time. They're at about 2.5 hours, and then it comes to find out that WWE doesn't control that. That's not them fitting there. That's not them saying that their story. So basically, Netflix controls how long they get. The Triple H was saying that in an interview over in London, that like they're responsible for all the content, they're responsible for the stories and the wrestlers and all that, but Netflix decides how long they go, which is kind of contrary to what he originally said, right?
Yeah,
Um, so that 2.5 hour that 2.5 hour timeline that they have is Netflix is doing, not they're doing, but it's still working.
it works, but yeah, that's completely opposite of what he said at WrestleMania when he or not WrestleMania, the initial Netflix briefing that he had where they just, oh, well, we're on our time. It could be 30 minutes or it could be three
Right.
hours and 30 minutes. Yeah.
Right. And it might not even have been WWE, like Kenny said. It's like Netflix told him, yeah. You know what? We're going live. You have however long you want. And then when they start, they're like, by the way, you got 2.5 hours. And that's it.
2.5 hours is great.
2.5 hours is
I
great. It's better than the 3 hours that SmackDown's getting because
I think SmackDown needs like so I did read that they think that 3 hours is a disaster for SmackDown,
there's,
and
there's
I would agree.
I totally agree. They're supposed to cut it down sometime this year. I think like in June, they're going to go to 2 hours, which I think is perfect. As
Yeah,
long as and the other thing that they need to stop doing, they really, really need to stop starting Roman Reigns' entrance and then split screening it to a commercial for 3 minutes while my man walks to the ring and I can't hear the crowd chanting for him. I can't hear his music. Like, I'm there to watch Roman. I'm not there to see a Snickers commercial. I don't even like Snickers. Hate
so
Snickers.
you want to acknowledge your tribal chief, and you feel like they're shorting you of that.
They are 100% shorting me that.
I I would agree, but his entrance is so long. Like he has the Undertaker level entrance.
That's fine. He deserves it. He's a tribal chief.
Touche. I can agree there. He does deserve to get his chance to walk out there and take as long as he wants, man. You've earned it.
That's all. Exactly. You're the what, third, fourth longest reigning champion in the history of the company? You
I mean,
earned
I
it.
get it. I get
Um,
it.
I gotta turn this baseball game off or I'm distracted the whole time.
Man, I have on the complete wrong glasses right now, so I'm having a hard time seeing this chat, but that's all right. Because I did see if you listen to Finn, you win. And speaking of listening to people, Cody Rhodes starts off SmackDown, and then we get Randy Orton. Then we get Drew McIntyre for a very odd segment. Like this is like I mean, it did lead to a Randy and Drew match, but it just felt a little off. Like, I, did you feel the same way
It
with
it
this?
it did. It felt like I don't I mean, Cody's popping on both shows right now, which is fine because he's your universal champion. He can be on both,
Yeah,
and that's cool. But to have Randy come out and just kind of basically pat him on the back, I don't think that he really needed that right now.
no,
And I guess they're trying to rub him a little bit and get, prop him up more. They don't really need to do that overseas. Mind you, the entire reason this whole overseas tour is happening is because John Cena is filming a movie in Europe. And no, I mean, I'm serious. The only
no, I
reason that
believe
they did this is because John Cena couldn't come over to the States to do appearances. So they did this entire tour around his movie schedule. And they said they made more money on this tour than they would have made doing these shows in the US.
that is a fact.
Hey,
They are
hey, Ace,
superior shows.
it is, it's the crowd. You got
Yeah.
you got them chanting for Randy, you got them they even chant for Drew.
Oh
But
yeah, they love Drew. Drew can do no wrong, honestly, at this point.
no, and it did feel like it was a little bit kinda out of nowhere just to get Drew and Orton fighting, even though by SummerSlam, Cody's gonna be Cody and Orton are gonna be kinda eyeing each other up. That feud needs a very long, slow build. Dude, there's no reason to rush that in any way right now.
I thought they would have leaned a little bit more into Cena and Orton's history because I mean they have one of the greatest history. Like those two are dance partners, kind of like Cena and Edge, but like Orton and Cena are up there as far as like lifetime opponents.
Um, I
I
I
can't agree with that.
I
No,
do think they need to start matches at the beginning of the shows a little bit more. Like,
yeah,
I get the Raw is fine, but SmackDown, maybe just start us off with a match and get to some in-ring promos later on. I don't every show is a promo. It's like now they're formulaic again. And, you know, it eh.
I just thought this one was just an odd choice, and just what they were saying too. Like nobody was really. Randy came out there and said, eventually he's going to want to go for his 14th, but that didn't feel important. Like, like it didn't feel like he didn't mean it when he said that. Like, I didn't. That wasn't the Viper talking. That was like Randall Keith Orton
Yeah,
speaking to Cody Rhodes. Like that.
yeah.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's too soon for him to even start talking about that because you don't know when Cody. If you don't even, I don't believe Cody's going to have the belt after WrestleMania, but that's a story for later on.
Yeah. But speaking of later on, we had our tag team title match, which was the first match of the evening, and we had Street Profits taking on Pretty Deadly. And once again, I'm a Pretty Deadly fan. I'll be totally honest. I'm a Street Profits fan too, so I was a little torn. It would have been a cool, cute story for Pretty Deadly to pull off an upset in their hometown. But Triple H loves to let people down in their hometown. Like if there's one thing Triple H does and he does well is you going home and him having you get beat
Vince
because
did
he's
that
beaten a
too.
lot of people. Yes, he's beaten a lot of people in their hometown as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think Kenny, I do think there's seeds for future storylines, but I think it's a little too soon for that future storyline.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
far as the tag match goes, it was okay. It was a good match. The four of them are great. I
yeah.
like Pretty Deadly. Um, the champs are they're they're great. I love watching the Street Profits. They just like we said before, Dawkins has gotten so much better.
Yes,
Um, and it, you know, uh, why can't I think of his name? Montez is just.
mm,
I mean, he's a definite superstar down the line.
for sure. I wonder how much time though. Like I've been here. They've been saying this for like the last year because he had a good showing at the Elimination Chamber last year, and everyone's like, "Oh, Montez is a star." After a while, you kind of get tired of here. At some point, you got to pull a trigger. And
Yeah.
we're gonna talk a little bit about pulling the trigger on someone who had a moment to be a star a little bit later on, um, when we talk about the newest WWE signing that I have some thoughts on.
Yeah.
But Street Profits win. It would have been a cute story, but like the Street Profits can't lose right now, this close to Mania, because we still don't know what type of tag team match we're going to get at Mania. We don't know if it's going to be a 4-way, 5 teams, 6 teams, who knows. SmackDown has a lot of teams, but not a lot of teams with steam.
No.
You know, like that. All of the teams, other than the Street Profits, I can't like. Pretty Deadly is the closest team that has any steam going into WrestleMania. As far as the SmackDown tag team, which is pretty sad because all of the tag teams are talented. They're gonna put on a great match, but it just
Yet they haven't.
there's no
No, they haven't pushed the tag teams, and they're doing the same. They're doing the same on the other side, and they're doing it with the women too. They just. It's like he just was like, we don't need tag teams. Let's just put the titles
yeah.
on someone, and we'll give you a match. Because, like, we had a missing in action tag team show up on Raw that we can get to. I
Yeah.
didn't even know them boys were still around.
Correct. There was a lot of missing in action tag teams because the next match was the Secret Harvest versus Katana Chance and Caden Carter. Where in the world have they been? Like they have like they just disappeared. They showed up for like a few backstage promos and you just haven't seen them in action at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not very exciting. They're a smaller team, but I don't see it.
It just felt like filler.
Yeah, I love the Secret Harvest though. Anything Chelsea Green does,
I
Piper
mean,
Niven, Albert Fire, I love them.
Secret Harvest is a great name too.
It's a
It's
great
a great
name.
name.
It's a
But
great.
that felt like filler, just like the match after it was basically filler.
So after that, yeah, we get Jacob. Get away from LA Knight. Get away from Braun Strowman. You have to like. That's the issue with SmackDown too. Is there's like the top, then there's nothing below it. Like there's the top on SmackDown, and then you're in the vortex. I feel like you're in the Legado del Fantasma vortex of just like you could everybody on SmackDown could put on a great match.
Yep.
Like nobody on SmackDown is an inferior wrestler,
Yeah.
which is kind of debatable, but in my opinion, I don't see too many on the male side
Right.
um, that are inferior. Every single Andrade could put on a banger in his sleep. Carmelo could put on a banger. Braun, LA Knight, not too sold on him wrestling wise, but like Jacob could put on a great match with anybody because he just has it. But
Yes.
those two,
There's
like, I don't
there's
know what
no
it is about
mid
LA
card
Knight.
right now. There's no mid card right now. That, like you said, there's the top, and then it goes down here, and there's no mid card. I get we have the Intercontinental title and the US title. Maybe they need to bring back the European title. Like at least it was a belt and it gave people something to chase. It gave them something to do.
Okay,
Because this
I mean,
belt,
yeah. I would almost agree with that. One, don't bring back the European title because D'Lo Brown is the only European champion that I ever acknowledge. D'Lo, when I think of the European title, I just think exactly the head bobble, the
that's fine.
bobblehead D'Lo Brown.
That's
I don't
fine.
want them to bring back the title and sully my vision of D'Lo Brown when I think of the European title. But I mean, bringing another title and that's AEW. One of AEW's issues is like
Yeah.
when they feel like things are getting stale, let's introduce another title and another tournament. And I don't think that's a fix. I don't know what the fix is for the US or the Intercontinental title because I feel like the Intercontinental title with Braun is a little bit stale too. Like he just beats people up, and I mean,
I
I guess that's cool, but
it, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing with I mean, obviously Jacob's gonna get this belt. Um, LA Knight's basically a placeholder. Um, again. But Jacob's gonna get this belt. And maybe that will carry it forward because, you know, that whole part of the bloodline just kind of fizzled out. Now, did it fizzle out because one of them got injured? Did it fizzle out because they just decided to go in another direction with creative? Like, I mean, it they brought Jacob in to be this "I love you" solo guy. It was a great little gimmick, but now that quickly ended, and now Solo's kinda in mediocrity again?
I I would disagree with that because I think that they're planting the seeds for Jacob and Solo to have some banger matches. Like
Yeah,
like if Jacob wins the title, I could see Solo going after it, and they have some bangers.
and that's
Like,
fine. I just I mean, I guess that I guess Kenny's right. He is
yeah,
Triple H really is spamming the same dance partners over and over and over again with the like he said there, the Carmelo versus Andrade 7-game series, and then now it's, Braun versus LA Knight, and then, what are we gonna get? A triple threat match for that belt? And it's like there doesn't seem to be too many one-on-one matches on this card that again, we'll talk about that in a few minutes.
yeah.
Let's call it teaser.
I'm very intrigued on what it's gonna look like. Not even the matchup, but just what that match is gonna look like at WrestleMania. If they do a single, if they do a triple, if they do a four-way, I'm really intrigued on how that match gets booked because you got LA Knight, Braun Strowman, of course Jacob's gonna get involved. Like, of course, we already know this is gonna happen. It's like there's no foreshadowing. It's just we just automatically assume if Braun is in any type of match, the bloodline's gonna show up because Jacob just hates him. And he wants to wreck him every time he sees him. Every time his music hits, like I could just see Jacob backstage just foaming at the mouth, just waiting for the moment where his music can hit, and he just comes out there and just wrecks him.
Is it is it a little more stale now because you got a couple extra weeks before WrestleMania? Because last year we were hitting WrestleMania, what, right around now, right? It was the first weekend of April.
Yeah.
And
And
this year it's another two no, we're another 2 weeks out, right?
yes, 2 weeks until WrestleMania. I don't know if the timeline. I just think that the spacing and pacing might just be a little bit off. Because I mean, you could still build. You don't have to like you didn't have to immediately jump into something after the Elimination Chamber because you have so much time in between.
Right.
But they just
Yeah, it was April 6th and 7th last year. That's
I
coming
don't
up on this weekend.
I don't think they capitalized well. There is an event this weekend. It ain't WrestleMania.
No?
It's an event.
What's an event?
Well, Dynasty,
Oh,
AEW Dynasty.
oh.
Swerve versus Mox, because
That the
that's a
one in
match.
Philly?
Is it in Philly? It might be in Philly.
There's something coming
You
in Philly from
you
AEW.
should go check it out.
I don't think so.
Jay. Yeah.
Jacob could be catering when Braun's music hits, and he'll drop that croissant and run to the ring. Yeah, and do his little little wiggle.
The yeah, the boogeyman neck dress. Like he does a weird thing.
That's right, it
But
is. No, I ain't going Matt, I was around people all last weekend. This is my weekend off from peopling.
oh, you got man, y'all should all go there and meet up, man. Oh, that'd be cool. You got like
Tickets are mad cheap because ain't nobody going, Kenny.
are they really cheap? They're coming here in May. They're coming here in May, and I'm definitely going because those tickets probably like $50 or something. But speaking of going to something, we were going into the match of the evening apparently because you were looking forward to this Meechin and Charlotte match. Like that was the match that you were waiting for. And before the match started, we had the wonderful, lovely Naomi, who had one of the best promos. We're talking about promos.
Yeah.
And that backstage segment when Naomi did everything it was supposed to do.
Yeah,
It
that was really good.
it was brilliant. It
It
was
was.
brilliantly done. She can cry on the drop of a hat, which I find to be amazing. Because she's sitting there crying, and I'm like, man, that's passion. And she's right. She has been overlooked for a very long time. She's a talented wrestler. People say she botch a lot. She's an athletic wrestler, and I think she moves at a different speed than a lot of other females in the division, which is what always been one of my biggest gripes with the women's division is everybody's moving at a different speed.
Right.
Like in the male division, I feel like everybody kind of has that same cadence when they're doing their movements, running the ropes, doing whatever. But the women all seem to be running at a different speed, and it makes a lot of their matches clunky. And I always think of the Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey match. That was like one of the worst matches I think I've ever seen. And it
Yes.
was because they were so out of sync with each other. And that's when it was so glaring. And I noticed that with BFAB in Charlotte last week as well. Like they just were out of sync. They didn't mesh well. Meechin meshes well with anybody because she took a good ass whipping from Naomi, but she still had the match with Charlotte. Charlotte said, I'm not taking this week off. I'm beating somebody. Like I'm about to beat somebody. And she beat Meechin. Meechin put up a good fight because she's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
But Charlotte got the win, and Tiffany gave a speech in the back where nobody could cut her off, and she got through it, and I was proud of her. I was I was proud because last week was rough, but I thought she didn't really come back, but she gained a little bit of favor in my eyes.
Listen, really fast. I've never been to the Liacouras Center, which is Temple's basketball auditorium where their AEW is hosting. And I'm looking at StubHub while you're talking.
Mhm.
They only go up to section 200, and there's the 200 level seats are selling for between $26 and $44.
Oh, that's what's up. I mean, so there's no bad seat at that place. Like
I
that's
guess
the
not. I mean, ringside selling for between 200 and 1,000, but I mean that's ringside. I don't need to sit ringside and get Moxley blood on my face.
I was gonna say, yeah, you definitely
I don't
getting some like they
I don't
gonna
need
be bleeding everywhere.
I got I got blood on my face. I got blood on me back in the old ECW days. I don't need John Moxley blood right now.
Man, John Moxley might have hepatitis or something, man, the
He
way he
might.
bleeds in the ring.
But I mean, look, it was an okay match. Um, eh, whatever.
And Kenny said Meechin's a good like it
She
was a
is.
solid match because Meechin puts up a good show, but once again, she has the Zelina curse where she just doesn't win. Like you
Well, you're
don't
definitely
ever think she's gonna beat Charlotte Flair. Like
no,
we
you're
know
never
this is
getting
a
that.
tune up.
No. Like,
So
the next match, I wasn't sure which way they would go. Honestly.
eh,
Well, look,
you're
Drew's
right.
been on a massive losing streak, right? He loses more than he wins lately, and as the heel, that works for him.
Yeah.
I really didn't expect Drew to pull it out over Randy. I'm not mad at it.
I kind of did. I was surprised that KO was there because I thought during that opening segment KO would have showed up because that made more sense than Drew showing up.
Yep.
Like so, KO being there and not getting any of his stuff in at the beginning because I thought he was going to come out. It was going to lead to a tag match,
Right.
which would have made a lot more sense. But once I mean, getting Drew and Randy, who are two huge dudes,
Yep.
like oh my god, like when they're standing next, I was like, yo, Randy is bigger than Drew. Like and Drew's huge. Like I don't remember Randy being that big. Like I always thought he was like a tall, leaner guy when he
Yeah.
first came in, but he's jacked right now.
He-
But I mean, it was a good match. I mean, those two guys, they're pros. So
Yeah.
I didn't expect KO to show up because he didn't
No.
show up during the promo, and of course he showed up. So
Of course, that's when he shows up.
of course, and that's so KO though, because like really, I just didn't think he was going to be there because they're overseas. Who knows?
And yeah, that is a PLE match, but that's Kenny say he's surprised that it was Drew versus Randy. That's the one thing Triple H has done in the positive side is he'll give you a PLE match on a Raw or a SmackDown. Well, the SmackDown isn't as much Triple H, but
Yeah.
they'll give you they'll switch titles on a Raw or a SmackDown now, which is that's good stuff. But and then the main event, is that what it was? Is that or was
No,
that
no,
oh,
no, that wasn't
oh
even the
no.
main event.
No, I'm asking. What came next? Is it we're calling that the main event?
No. The main event was your tribal chief, and
Well,
I
yeah,
mean,
match-wise.
match wise, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess because we had, I mean, not for nothing, one half of the greatest tag team of this generation, Jimmy Uso versus the most underrated wrestler in WWE history. You can argue all you want. The Miz is underrated, and he's great because the little backstage segment he had with Jimmy, the lead up to this match was pretty funny.
Yep.
And I mean, this was Jimmy Uso getting a win before he got killed. And we're
He did
gonna
he did he did he did have his life ended
it
on
was
Monday night.
like he had to win. He got to win so he can have some steam going into Monday night. It's like, oh, Jimmy Uso might defeat our world heavyweight champion Gunther.
Yeah, that didn't happen as that I don't know. I don't know if we'll see Jimmy before WrestleMania at this point.
we
Did
we
Jimmy
can't.
need time off? Was that what? Like, 'cause
We
I
can't.
we'll get there.
We'll get there. But before we get there, Damien might have also ended Drew McIntyre's life when he chokeslammed him through the hood of a car, which was pretty awesome.
Well,
I haven't seen him do that with like the hood of a car in a very long time.
yeah,
Uh, other
and he
than like,
actually got glass in his eye.
yeah, real glass, as he
Real
said.
glass,
He did say that on the internet. It
but
was real
that was a
glass.
moment where he was laying in the glass and they were having the other 3 guys for the next segment come out, and CM
It
Punk
just
walked by him and just kinda stopped and smirked at him, which was pretty friggin' hilarious.
yes. Yes. Like, man, you need help right now. I'm not going to help you because I have
Yeah,
to go to the ring and talk to it. But you actually might die because he could have got cut. His back, he could have cut a femoral artery or whatever type of artery, that could have just killed him there. But CM Punk doesn't care because he hates him as a human being.
and I guess
And
it's kind of a little bit of a throwback to Jack Perry. Tiny
yes, of
little
course.
tiny
Yeah. Oh,
little
yeah.
tiny
Oh,
little
yeah.
wink.
Oh yeah, they don't do anything accidentally. He didn't tweet that out accidentally. That
Mm,
definitely was
mhm.
a nudge at old Jungle Boy Jack.
No,
But
and Kenny's right too. It did give me some interest in the Damian Drew match because before this, it was just like it's 2 big guys are gonna fight, you know, see what happens. This is a little bit more. Well, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute too.
I'm
Oh,
I think this WrestleMania is going to be amazing. I really do because I think these two are going to put on a better match than we really expect them to have because they're pros. Like Damian and Drew are just very good wrestlers, and they're gonna have a banger match. But this was a good way. The worst wrestler of all time. The wrestler with the least aura of all time.
yeah,
Once he stopped having the Jungle Boy music and he was just Jack Perry, like he literally lost all of his cool points. But yeah, we'll get to that probably next week. When I do discuss Dynasty, and I don't even think he's on Dynasty because the AEW is weird like that. But let's talk about the real main event of SmackDown, which was
yes.
your tribal chief, who did come down to the ring with a Snickers commercial playing. And he came down there and he said, acknowledge me. And I'm so glad he said, acknowledge me again, because last week when he said, acknowledge your tribal chief, I wanted to throw something at my TV because that's not what you say. You don't come down there and say acknowledge your tribe. You say acknowledge me because that's what my kids recognize that. When he says that on TV, my kids throw up the ones because
That's
they want to acknowledge their tribal chief.
that's phenomenal. Um, this segment was great. This segment was
Yes.
great from top to bottom. Now, I told you, the emotion coming from Seth Rollins, the emotion coming from CM Punk, the goofy, jokey way that Roman handled everything
Yes.
was beautiful. Was beautiful. Paul Heyman singing. I mean, we got a little bit of everything in this segment. But the thing that
Yes.
I want to focus on is the favor. And I said what I thought was the favor after I posted my awful April Fool's joke yesterday. It didn't even get a ha ha. It didn't even get a you're dumb. It got completely ignored, and I deserved it because what did I say? Hulk Hogan got added to the Gunther match.
Yes. I
Okay.
saw that and I was at work and no, I was doing schoolwork and I was like, I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that's silly." And I just kept it
Yeah,
moving.
it was the worst. It was one of the worst tried April Fool's jokes I've ever done in my life, and I usually hate April Fools. What I want to focus on the favor and what I think the favor is what I posted it in there, and everybody was very busy yesterday, so nobody got a chance to chat it up. But there's a whole bunch of movie news going on, and everybody's focused on a lot of
Yes.
stuff, and that's cool.
Mhm.
That's what the place is. Um, they said Punk is main eventing WrestleMania. He's closing WrestleMania, and I thought that was night 2. It's not. It's going to be night 1.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. Punk's favor is to be the number 1 contender. That's what I think the favor is. I think that if Cody manages to beat Cena, you're going to hear CM Punk's music. He's going to come out and he's going to get his title shot right there. That's his money in the bank, basically free pass to a title shot. And I think he only cashes that in on Cody Cena. If Cody wins, I don't think Cody's going to win. And I don't think he's going to cash it in right there. I think he's going to hold on to that. Hopefully it doesn't hold on like they hold the money in the bank contracts. But I think it's a title shot is his favor.
But I mean, like whoever wins this match should be the number 1 contender for any title they want. Like whoever wins the match.
And,
Because these really are 3 of the biggest stars other than who aren't champion in WWE right now.
and I agree with Matt that Seth was more of an afterthought in a promo, and it really feels like he's been an afterthought the entire buildup. Seth and
Right.
Roman's back and forth was great. It was great stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that they have so much history to bring in. And that was the building that the Shield first came into a match on. And like, there's all that history there. And that's awesome stuff. But it felt like once CM Punk came out, Seth Rollins, I was like, stay over there, boy. We'll deal with you another time.
Grown people are talking now. Like that's
Right.
exactly what it felt
Yeah.
like.
Seth, stay there. Grown men are talking. You'll be all right. I don't know how this match plays out because do you want Roman to take a pin in back-to-back WrestleManias? Not really. Do you want CM Punk to lose? Like, not really. Does Seth, who has not won at a WrestleMania match in quite a while, take another loss at WrestleMania? Like, this is one of those, I really don't know what they're going to do here.
Yeah, I have no
Because
idea who's gonna win.
no, it's a triple threat match, so there's no rules. So it can't end in a disqualification. Does Paul Heyman turn on Roman and Punk and side with Seth Rollins? Because what a boost to Seth Rollins that would be to have Paul Heyman in his corner for a while. What an amazing feud Roman and Seth can continue to go on if Paul Heyman flips on him. Like, there's so many different scenarios for this match. It's probably the one match I'm looking forward to more than Cena and Cody.
I'm for sure looking forward to this match. I'm very intrigued who's gonna win it because any one of those 3 could honestly win this match.
Mhm.
For a variety of reasons. Seth, because of his hatred for both of those guys, I think that's gonna ultimately cost him. I don't think he's gonna win this match. Um, but Roman could in turn beat Punk. Like I do think that Paul is gonna turn on Roman or he's gonna side with Punk, but I think that might actually cost Punk the match more than help him. And if Punk wins the match, it's because he's gonna beat Seth. He's not gonna beat Roman.
Right.
But at the same time, like Punk beating Seth again, I don't see them doing it because I think they want to get to the 3rd match between those 2, their 3rd singles match, because both of them have 1 singles victory,
Mhm.
which probably will end up being a Hell in a Cell match, even though it might be cliche at this point. But I mean, it that's kind of the end all be all for most feuds, the blood feuds, as they say.
I think CM
Um,
Punk might die if he does another Hell in a Cell.
he, hey, he'll go into the Hall of Fame posthumously.
Yeah.
Because I really do think there are wrestlers whose goal, and Darby Allin's one of them, whose goal is to die in the wrestling ring. I don't think that's CM Punk's goal,
No,
but
no.
but he might if he does, like, because him and Seth, they get so innovative and they do all of this extra stuff, and they're old. Like
Yeah.
they're not as young as they're not young like Will Ospreay or some of
Oh,
those younger guys doing stuff like
but
that. So
if Roman wins, where does Roman go next? Like Kenny said, obviously, if Roman wins, Seth and Punk can go to Backlash and fight each other. Where does Roman go from there? Like what? Like
for the title,
I don't think the Bloodline story's over by far. I think it's kind of being put on the back burner right now, and it's going to come back again because does he go after Cody's title, or does Jey win the belt and he goes after Jay's belt? Like, because you could have a whole thing there too. Like, there's so many different ways. Um, I, you know, as far as those women go, what Kenny and Matt are talking about right now. Um,
oh,
that's
we're
another
gonna
one
get
that I
into
don't.
that.
Yeah, I will. I wanna run through this list real fast
Yes.
before we get to Raw. This is ranking. This is from what's this website? This is from Bleacher Report. Okay, this is ranking The Rock versus John Cena and the best builds to WrestleMania ever. So there's 15 of these that we can zip through.
Okay.
Number 15 is Jericho versus Owens, the build to WrestleMania 33.
That's a drop ball. That was a great bill, and they dropped the ball so badly on that one.
Yeah.
Great bill. List the list of Jericho or the list of KO, and oh man, that was great.
No, man, you guys talk all you want back there. That's what the chat's for. You guys talk all you want. This is the one where they went on second, right? And Jericho's pissed.
Because
Should've
KO
been-
ended up losing the title.
Yep.
KO lost the title right before WrestleMania, and they yes.
All right. So at 14, they have Batista versus Triple H to build the WrestleMania 21. As when Batista went full heel and beat up Ric Flair.
Or what? That was that one? No, that
I
was
believe it was, wasn't it?
no 21 is
Oh,
the one that thumbs
2004.
down.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right. That's the
that
thumbs
was
down.
a thumbs down. Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was when Batista came back and drugged Ric Flair into the dressing room.
Yeah, that was a different one. That was a good
Right.
too.
Yeah, it was a good build. It was
Yeah.
a good twisted and turning back and forth throughout the thing. Number 13 is Trish Stratus versus Mickie James to build a WrestleMania 22.
That was a good one. That was
That was great.
Stalker Mickey James. that was or single white female Mickey James, where she was dressing up as Trish Stratus and doing like trying
She
to
like
be her.
lick her face or something. She did
Yes,
something
yes,
really,
she did.
really.
Yes.
Yeah,
It
she
was-
crossed the line.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Where Mickey said, "My obsession is your destruction." Yeah. That was
Great.
good.
That was a good bill. That was a good bill.
Number 12, the main event to the original WrestleMania. WrestleMania 1, Hogan and Mr. T, pity and fools all over the place.
Orndorff and the best heel in the business, Roddy Piper.
I loved Rowdy Piper. I was a huge fan of Piper. It was great.
Thanks so much for all of the folks coming in doing the Ace Raid. Definitely,
thank you.
I appreciate you.
I love
Definitely
Ace Raid.
appreciate you guys. Yes. He's the best.
Number 11. I don't know. This one might be, depending on what the rest of this is, this could be a little bit higher on my list. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant to build to WrestleMania 3.
Looking back on it, it really wasn't that great of a build, but at the same time, that's probably the most iconic moment. That was the first time I've ever watched wrestling, and that actually hooked me.
WrestleMania 3, I watched that so many times. I had it on I had a
Me too.
VHS tape of it. I actually videotaped over one of my sister's cheerleading competitions, and to this day, they still talk shit to me about it.
That's
Remember when you
hilarious.
taped over our wrestling competition? I'm like, yep, WrestleMania 3, Roddy Piper put Adrian Adonis to sleep in the middle of the ring. I'll never forget it.
Great. Oh man, it's such a great moment. But that build
Yeah,
was, I mean, for the time, I guess, because Hogan was such a big star. Like and like the ripping of the shirt, like, yeah, yeah,
it
I,
also
I
ga
could see.
it also gave us one of the greatest matches in the history of WWE,
Correct. Correct.
which we'll talk about on the next list next time we are on doing the show.
Correct.
SBC, Matt. SBC, Summerdale Boys Club. Number 10, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos, WrestleMania 39. More
I mean
bloodline.
that. Yeah,
Loved it.
that whole bloodline, the whole bloodline bill was great. Yeah, so
That
I
was
can see
great.
that.
That was great. Number 9, Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage to build the WrestleMania 3.
That was the throat. That was when that's when he hit him with the bell in the throat, and he supposed to have crushed his larynx. Yes, good.
Yep.
Steamboat, the ultimate face,
There
the
you go.
ultimate face.
Here's a great comment. WrestleMania from Dave Elias. WrestleMania 3 was everything for weeks leading up to the event and then after the event. Hogan got pinned but not called, and Andre got body slammed. Yep. That was
Mhm.
back when everybody loved Hulk Hogan.
Loved them.
Boy, as times changed. Number 8, Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, WrestleMania 13.
One of the greatest feuds ever. Yes, that was a great build. Those
Mhm.
two really, like, you really thought they hated each other.
Yep.
Like, you would have really thought that those two despised each other and they really wanted to hurt each other in the ring, and they did. That was a
Yeah,
great match too.
it was. Number 7, Daniel Bryan versus Triple H to build to WrestleMania 30. I don't think I
The
was
yes.
into watching it then. I missed a lot of the Daniel Bryan stuff. So I kind of go
Oh,
back and watch clips.
the yes movement was,
Yeah.
you had to be there. That was something I don't think we'll ever see again. Like what Cody has now, amplify that by like 10.
I
That yet, oh man, that was a moment in time. That
That
was
was
a
when
that,
he was they were the authority, him and Steph, right?
correct.
Yeah.
And they called Daniel Bryan a B plus player, and he wasn't good enough to be,
Yep. And
that was a pretty good bill.
this was one of those moments where they really didn't want to give Bryan the belt either, right? And the crowd forced it. The crowd
Yes.
picked that champion.
He had, I don't think it was Madison Square Garden, but he was on. I remember he was on top of the cage, and like the whole, I mean, the
Yeah,
entire audience, that's like an iconic. They can't play it now because he's in AEW, but
right.
like that was one of the most iconic moments on Monday Night Raw. Was that whole, man?
I've
He
seen
just,
clips of it in countdown clips.
yeah.
Um, Number 6, Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, WrestleMania 10.
Uh, yeah, I mean, great match. I don't
Sure.
remember too much of the bill. I mean,
Yeah.
of course, it's little brother. I hate you.
Mhm.
Like, you always overshadow me. I could see that.
Uh,
I could see that being there, but I don't remember too much of it.
Number 5, John Cena makes an appearance. Cena versus Rock, WrestleMania 28.
That's too high. I was not a fan of that whole. I wasn't a fan of it. The once in a lifetime match. That, they could have kept it. They really could have. I was not
Yeah.
a fan of that.
Yeah.
They had good promos. Don't get like they had some great promos,
They
but
had
it
great
just
promos. That is the one where Cena called out Rock for writing stuff on his wrist.
for the yeah, the stuff on his wrist. That
Yeah,
was
and
good.
Rocky wanted to actually really beat him, and Dwayne was gonna kick John's ass. Number 4, Cody versus Roman, WrestleMania 40. I love the build up to it. Love the build up to it.
Oh,
Because
was
it
this
wasn't supposed to be.
this is this last one, not the
This
first
was the
one.
last one. Yeah. And
Yeah,
again,
that was good.
I've said it before. I wanted Cody to win because of the moment that it was while I was there, but I am still more of a Roman Reigns fan, even though the entire match, Matt had his one up. Whole match. Matt might have been one of 5 people booing that win in Philadelphia when the 3 count went up.
I,
That stayed
I
true.
I was actually still surprised he won.
So fun.
I for some reason just thought they were not gonna let him win.
Number 3 is Undertaker versus Kane, the build up to WrestleMania 14.
Was that their first WrestleMania? That had to
1997.
have been the first one. That
Yeah,
because all of the
that was
other ones
Paul
were like,
Bearer. That was when Paul Bearer brought Kane out.
Yeah,
for the first time.
okay.
And
I thought,
Undertaker wouldn't fight him, and then they finally
yeah,
fought.
yeah. That because that went on for a while. Like Kane would
Yeah.
just show up and just like beat him up, and he wouldn't do anything. He'd just leave.
Yeah, that started almost a year prior, like,
Yep.
in summer of '97, and they went all the way around back to WrestleMania with that. That's
Yep.
great.
Hmm.
Back when Vince knew what he was doing and stuff was good.
Yeah.
Uh, Number 2, the end of an era saga, WrestleManias 25 to 28. Uh,
Was that Triple H
that's
and
Triple H
Undertaker?
and The Undertaker.
No, I would put Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. I thought Shawn Michaels like super kicking him in the elimination chamber to make sure he got his match. That was a better build than Triple H and Undertaker. But
I didn't I didn't like shaved head Undertaker, really. I didn't like that look on him with, like, a kinda half a mohawk.
yeah, the Mohawk,
I
yeah,
didn't like that. That was weird look.
very, very.
And the number 1 build WrestleMania, the Mega Powers Explode, WrestleMania 5.
Mm,
Watching Randy Savage unravel week by week by week was awesome TV back then.
it
I
was,
was
it
all
was.
in '87.
Yes,
What
I
was I,
remember. I remember watching that Saturday Night Main Event when
sophomore? I was a sophomore in high school. All in.
I was.
Girls didn't like me as much, so I didn't care. So I liked wrestling. Um, Hogan Rock not on this list is a big glaring is it's missing, but it wasn't as
Was
iconic
yeah,
building up to it. It wasn't
yeah.
until they actually started wrestling that that whole thing turned into the iconic match that it is.
Because I thought it was way. I thought the match was going to be terrible. Because one,
Right.
at that point I wasn't a Hogan fan at all. Like the
Mhm.
NWO and WWE was just not it
It
for
didn't
me.
hit.
And it was like a few backstage segments. They didn't really build that match. Toronto built the match.
Yeah.
Like Toronto just made that match way bigger than it ever was going to be.
'Cause the
Because
crowd turned and got behind Hogan out of nowhere.
that crowd was so loud. I
It
remember
was.
watching that live and they was so loud. And I was like, oh snap, something special is happening. Like you
Yep.
have that moment where you're just like, oh man.
I'm
And they felt it,
I'm
that
watching
they
this in real time happen. And
mhm,
they went with it. I I rewatched that match right at the beginning of the pandemic, right? Like the first week that we worked from home. I
mhm.
just put my work laptop over here and just sat down and I was like, I'm gonna watch WrestleMania. I'm gonna watch this Hogan match right now, and I'm not gonna work because F it. We don't
Man.
know what's going on.
I mean, watching some of Hogan's matches were rough though. That Warrior Hogan match was probably one of the worst WrestleMania matches I think I've ever watched.
Bro,
At the time, I thought it was great. But like rewatching it now, I was like, that's
listen,
pretty awful.
listen. Rock carried Hogan through that match.
Of
Okay.
course.
I mean, without if almost any other wrestler wouldn't have been able to do that for him. Maybe like Shawn Michaels, Triple H, obviously, but like, you know,
Yeah.
that match was almost as bad as Undertaker Kane versus Triple H, Shawn Michaels, the match that we
Real end of the era match. The real end of the era. That
did.
showed you that, hey man,
That match
let
ended
them retire.
that match ended 4 careers in the
Yes.
ring.
Correct. But speaking of ending careers, because that's what we call in the business a segue. Because Monday Night Raw kicked off, and I didn't watch it live because I was busy doing a whole bunch of other stuff. And I watched it after Geek Spot News because I have to watch my Geek Spot News. Um, and listening to the Geek Spot News on Monday, and I turned that thing on, and John Cena's music hit. And there was some cheers, and there
Yeah.
were a lot of boos.
Yep.
And before John Cena got a chance to say a word, Cody's music hit, and I said, they're finally doing it. They are finally going to talk to each other. Not talk around each other, but they're finally going to actually get in there and talk to each other.
Boy, did
And
we.
boy, did they. So, John Cena used the word buried.
Mhm.
And I've read on the internet, a lot of people said that John buried Cody. And there are a lot of people who said Cody buried John. Who do you think got the better of back and forth.
I think Cena got the better of him. I
Really?
do. I think Cody held his own, but
He
I think
did.
if you have to grade it, Cena's a little bit higher than Cody in this one. A little bit. I think Cody I do. I think Cody held his own and had some really great comebacks,
Yes.
but I think I don't think a lot of that's scripted. I think they might have bullet points to work with. Like I said, I can't wait for John Cena to be out of wrestling so that we can get it behind the scenes on this build, and I wanna see the stuff, how they prepared for this. I want maybe it'll happen in 5 years.
Yeah.
I wanna see how they prepared for this and the behind the scenes part of this, because that's gonna be so fascinating. But who do you think came out on top?
I honestly think it was a stalemate. I don't I don't think anybody lost that battle. That's what I'll say. I don't think anybody lost because John didn't bury Cody. Cody definitely didn't bury John, but there were no losers here. Like I didn't like Cody's start. I didn't like the 8 Mile take on it. Where he starts running himself down.
Yeah.
Like that didn't work for me.
No.
So I thought he really was about to get buried. Like when he came out and said, "I'll tell you, I got a lisp, and I do. I used to be Stardust, and what else did he say? He said a
Oh, you
few
can make
other
fun of the
things.
neck tattoo and
Yeah, yeah, make fun of the neck tattoo, and I was like, "Oh, you about to get crushed." That in my mind, that's all I was thinking. I was like, "Oh, Cena's about to eat you up." If you just gave because I mean, those will be considered low hanging fruit, but I wouldn't even have used them. Like I wouldn't honestly, I wouldn't have came at the neck tattoo because
no.
that to me is lame. Like I don't. Cena did it in a very creative way. But at the same time, I wouldn't have went after that. I wouldn't have went after his list because I mean Dusty talked with a list, and Dusty
Low
is one
hanging
of the
fruit.
best talkers. So that part of it, I was like, all right, Cody's about to get killed. And when John said he was gonna bury him, I was like, oh, he really is about to bury him because he tried. he
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 so
went.
so I listen and Matt is referencing Busted Open. I love listening to Busted Open sometimes.
Oh
I
God.
listened to Busted Open yesterday too. I just listened to their take on the promo. Bully Ray and
Yeah.
Dave LaGreca. I just listened to
Mhm.
their take on the promo. Bully Ray can be a little rough sometimes,
He's so annoying.
but he understands the business, so he's got a lot of insight. And Dave LaGreca is just the biggest fanboy in the world, and that's you
Correct.
know. So there were a couple of lines that I pulled up that they said last night that I wanna go over real fast.
Okay.
John Cena said at one point, "I make empires for billionaires. All you ever done is steal money from their kids." Now, listening to Busted Open, Dave LaGreca said, "Oh, he's talking about Cody stealing money from Stephanie and Triple H." I
No.
didn't take it that way at all. That was a shot at Tony. That was a Tony
Tony,
Khan
that
reference,
was definitely a Tony Khan reference. Yeah.
100%.
Yes.
Right. And you know, Cody saying that Cena was the chosen one, yes, 100% wrong because Cena was about to get fired before Stephanie heard him freestyling on the bus. Like that
Well,
story's widely known.
I mean, not, after that though, Super Cena, he was like he beat all of Nexus in one night. Like,
Right. But
like
they
so,
but they were gonna release him because they really
no,
didn't
that's
have a
true.
direction for him, and Stephanie heard him freestyle, and that took his career on the trajectory that it went to, and he became, one of the greatest on the microphone ever.
Correct. I
I
mean,
so that was a great, great, great line.
it was.
Oh, hold on. Okay. This website's giving me issues. All right. And then John Cena at one point said, "It's not where your tattoo is at, Cody. It's what your tattoo is that exposes you to the world for what you are, a common fan like them." That was a
Oh
shot at
man.
Dusty Rhodes.
Oh man. That was
That was cold-blooded.
that was that was excellent. So I too listened to Busted Open. I
Mhm.
think I got 5 minutes in. Bully Ray just okay. I get it. You wrestled.
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that you're the only person who understands nuance for anything.
No.
He's well, because I was in a business, I understand the nuances. When he did this, and it was like, I get it, man. Like I turned it off because I was like, I'm just tired. Like I understand the nuance of humans. I've never wrestled
Correct.
before, but I've talked to people before. I've
Yes.
like I've done things on social media. I've done things with other people. I've done interviews where like you can speak like all you have to do is understand the nuance of communication to
Yep.
understand what they were doing in it. Like, so
Mhm.
he just kept referencing, you wouldn't know this if you've never been in the business.
That's not true.
You're probably, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't know what they went through before they went out there because I'm not in the business, but I
Right.
do understand, I understand when somebody's doing something extra. I understand when somebody's doing something special.
Yep.
When they're speaking and you just know you have a moment, and that was a moment. That was like there's 3 weeks of just great. I mean, people said, the first 2 weeks he came out and said the same promo. I don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they were similar, but they were still great promos. Like he
Yep.
still elicited responses from people.
There's
And
there's two more lines that Cody said. One, I love the Star Wars quote. I love the Star Wars quote. I am a wrestler like my father before me. Rip off Star Wars, you got me. I was like, all right, all right, all right, I get you. But then the best line that Cody laid on him, the best line that Cody laid on him was, maybe I was chosen, but you know who chose me? They chose me. Can you say the same, John Cena? Or was it one guy in an office who chose you, who's not here anymore, and we don't talk about him? That was a slap across the face, and you could tell John Cena's reaction was great.
yes, yes. He was like, all right, okay. I don't really have a comeback for that, but I
Nope,
want to
came to
come
play.
back so bad. Yeah, like now I want to fight you. Like this reminds me of Deadpool and Wolverine. Is like, oh, you just got now I have to fight you. Like,
I think, and now that was supposedly Cena's last appearance on TV before WrestleMania.
I don't believe that.
Do we get something from The Rock coming forward now? We have 2 weeks to WrestleMania. Does Cena just go dark for 2 weeks and The Rock makes up an Instagram post at some point? Like at this point, I don't need Dwayne to interfere.
I feel like Cena has to get his lick back before WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So you got Crossroads. I feel like he's gonna show up out of nowhere in the next 2 weeks. It might even be on the Smackdown. Who knows?
Yep.
Because Cody does both shows. So he's gonna come out of nowhere. He's gonna F you, Cody. Because we have to have that picture before WrestleMania. Like if you know anything about if you've been in a business for more than a day, like if you know anything about those video packages, the video packages contain a few things: pointing at WrestleMania signs, everybody getting their stuff in, a
Mhm.
brawl, like all of these different things, like because it's not going to be a good video package if it's just a bunch of promo stuff. I
Right.
mean,
Unless you're being in
WWE,
front of airplane.
yes, WWE rarely misses on their video packages these days, but I feel like Cena's he's gonna sneak him.
I
Cody's gonna have a match and he's gonna hit him with a
I
well,
agree. I agree with Kenny. I agree with Kenny. I was just about to say this. Usually, person that gets the lick in last before the big match
oh
is
yeah,
the
holds up the
loser of
belt.
the match. And Cody got his crossroads on him. Cena's winning this match. And I want to, hopefully we get to do predictions before WrestleMania. Hopefully you're back and we can pop in and grab some people and do some predictions. But I'm telling you now, I'll put it down. I'll put money on it. Cena is winning that belt.
I believe that too. I believe he's gonna win too.
Yeah.
He can't lose. He can't lose at WrestleMania.
Mm-mm,
He
mm-mm.
just can't. The way they built it up, he really can't lose. And Cody loses nothing by losing. In all honesty, like Cody winning, I don't think. because the Cena rub, we saw that with Solo Sikoa. That's not gonna put you in a different strategy. This doesn't put Cody in the like on anybody's Mount Rushmore.
Yep.
But
Cody,
Cena needs this win.
Cody turning at the end of his heel run before his last match and dropping to someone is the rub that you need. Now you don't need it. Now Cena needs to win to take
Yes.
that to he does. And he absolutely should.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because I want to see him. I want to see him blow a kiss at the crowd and just leave. And then, of course, like we do a few weeks of like building up to them going back to get their title.
Yep.
Like they're gonna do something crazy.
I don't want to see Cena the Monday night after WrestleMania.
No,
I don't want to see him.
no.
I don't want to see Cena at Backlash. I don't want to see Cena then. I want people to think that he retired and went away. That's what I want.
I want to see him on Twitter. Like I want him to be on Twitter, like doing other things and like
Yes.
and like posting videos of him like doing just other stuff.
Be on
And
the
just
set of
like
Fast and the Furious with the belt in the seat next to you in a car. Be
yes,
on the set of a movie with the belt in your trailer in the background. Do some cool shit like that. That's the shit The Rock would
yes.
do that I actually would appreciate. Then we had some matches, right?
We did. Let's see. What is the we have hold on. Do I have the right one up here?
We have the New Day versus the New Catch Republic. You got that one?
No, I got the wrong. I got the wrong Raw up.
I would love to see that belt on a car seat in a quick oh, that'd be great.
And Vin Diesel just sits next to him like, hey,
Lifts it up.
nothing like family.
Nothing like family.
Nothing. Why am I? Oh, here we go. What in the world? Oh, I got.
By the way, the Phillies are up 2-0, just so you know. Anyway.
Why is it not pulling up the results?
No?
No, it's not pulling up the
That's
results.
all right, I got you.
Okay.
So we got New Day versus the New Catch Republic.
Welcome back, Tyler Bate. Welcome back. That was cool. Hometown pop. Yeah, that was a cool hometown thing. And I don't like them as a tag team, but I do like Tyler Bate. I like Pete Dunne too, but I don't like them as a tag team. They don't do it for me as a tag team.
It was a match, you know? And then at the end of the match, we get two men on the back of a milk carton just showing up for the first time in weeks.
Why? Like, serious. When they showed up, I was like, "What are y'all doing? Like, what are you doing?" Like, they show up in their biker gang clothes, like they just came from a pub, had a few pints, and it's like, "What are y'all doing?" I haven't wrestled in Lord knows, like since they almost killed JD McDonough, they haven't had a match. Like I think that's the last match they've had on Raw, or period.
It's been a while.
Was that Judgment Day match. And no, that was the one where they won the titles, I thought. And they might have had one title defense since then.
Maybe. It's been a while. It's been a good long while.
They sat in the audience.
We teased the New Day and them in what's possibly a tag team match for sometime soon.
New Day needs to win the tag team titles so they can get some momentum back, because they had momentum and then the WWE just completely dropped the ball on everything that they had. They had heat, and then they went into the LWO vortex, and I said, please get them out of that. Get them away from the LWO. They do nothing for any team that they fight.
So you start the show off all the way up here, and then you take a big dip, and then all of a sudden you have murder.
Yes.
Then you go right to just murder. Like, it's Netflix. We're just going to kill someone on screen on Netflix. Please, YouTube, don't stop this video just because I said that word. Gunther versus Jimmy Uso was a pretty good match.
Yes.
And then Gunther unalived Jimmy Uso.
So we said it last week. That because he slapped Gunther that hard, he was going to unalive him in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it playing out the way they
Mm,
played it out because that was cinema. That was theater at its finest because he handcuffed Jay or he okay.
zip tied him.
So zip tying, I could break out of those zip ties. That's the one thing that I will say that kind of upset me. Don't zip tie. Like anybody can break. I've seen human beings break out of zip ties
Mhm.
quite often
Okay. I
when
couldn't, but
when necessary. Like I've seen especially people the size of Jey Uso. He's not a
right.
little human being.
No.
So he zip tied him to the ropes, and
Mhm.
he proceeds to murk Jimmy Uso. like he power bombed him a few times, and he busted him open. And the greatest scene was Jay reaching out and Gunther choking him out, full of covered in his blood. That is a video package scene right
Yep.
there. Like
You know what?
that's
One of the things Gunther did in a match that you do not see happen in matches anymore that they used to do back in the day was when they would start to pin him and they would get the 2 and they would pull him back up. And he would dish
yes.
out more punishment. And then you would go for the 2 count and then pull him back up again. The old school heels used to do that stuff all the time, and that I love that. You haven't seen that in such a long time.
That
Gunther
was because,
pulling him up to dish out more punishment was awesome.
well, that was because they were fighting a Brooklyn brawler. They would do that against
Right.
like the Red Rooster, Terry Terry Taylor or something. They would do that against the jobbers. They wouldn't do that
But they
against
still
top talent.
no, but it was still awesome to do.
It was.
But
$1 Million Man used to do stuff like that all the
he
time. He
wiped
just like
his blood all over his chest. Real or not, I don't know, whatever, if that was ketchup, fake blood, real blood, I don't care. It was still an awesome thing to see. So you
so
came
that's
all the way back up here.
That's always been one of my gripes with AEW is drinking of other people's blood. They do that a lot. And Gunther did the thing where he like taste he put a little on his finger. I was like, don't do that. Like that one, that's disgusting. Two, bro, there was a pandemic where we didn't even want to touch people. So
No.
like you drinking somebody's blood, like that's yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like licking my own blood. I'm not licking somebody else's blood. I'm
Yeah,
good.
no.
I ain't wiping
No.
nobody's blood on my chest. I'm good. I'm
I mean,
alright.
I thought that was cool.
It
I
was
thought that
awesome.
like that's like a warriors thing. That's like going back to Braveheart or something. Like
That was
that's
also
what
for
warriors
him to
did.
do. Yeah, it's also for him to do.
Yes.
Um, then we had a tag team match. It was an interesting combination of Penta and Braun Breaker versus Finn and Dom. Wasn't a bad match.
No, because Finn Balor cannot put on a bad match.
No.
Like and Dom has grown to be a very capable hand in the ring. And
Mhm,
Penta's great and Braun is great.
mhm.
It was just awkward. It was awkward those four being in a tag match, but it was destined to be great because
Yeah.
they're telling a story. They told a solid story, and we're gonna see that story. And we're gonna see little Latino heat come out of WrestleMania as a
I
champion.
That's what I think. But so Dom and Finn get the win.
They
Um,
did.
Braun hit a spear on Penta by accident. Balor hit the coup de grace for the win. Cool. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. It was a solid match. Judgment Day, they've gone on too long, but the Judgment Day do put on really good tag matches. like they've mastered the tag match.
Yep.
Finn, JD, JD and Dom and Carlito.
Mhm.
We don't give Carlito enough credit. He's
No.
been great. He's actually fit. I thought he was so awkward in Judgment Day originally, but he's like comic relief and he's always funny
Yep.
and like I enjoy them. I
I
enjoy
think
everything they do.
I think if it comes down to it, Dom's gonna pin Finn
Yes.
for the win, and that will be the final nail in the coffin of Judgment.
Hmm.
Um, After that fun match, Triple H must have been like, "Yo, everybody, go get something to eat. Go to the bathroom if you need to. We're gonna have AJ Styles come out and talk to Logan Paul."
To okay, AJ's not bad on the mic.
No, and Logan's good
Logan's
on the mic.
not. Then neither one of them bad on the mic. But at the same time, do we care? Like do we really care that those two are like having a mic battle after we just saw Cody and John Cena like they should have just left all promos off the show because you're not gonna top that.
No, no, you're not.
But Logan Paul did hit him with a smooth like that move he hit him with was very like Logan Paul is a phenomenal wrestler. And no pun intended. He
He is
is
great. Yes,
he's
he's a
a
great
great
athlete.
wrestler.
He picked it up. The crowd was calling him a douchebag. It was awesome.
Yes. He understands his role.
He
Like he's
does.
not coming in trying to do something different. He's not trying to be a hero. He knows who he is and he leans into it, which I really do respect.
He
Because
does.
everybody doesn't do that.
And then he has all of them on his podcast, and they're great conversations. There's a lot of
Yes.
good insight and stuff on his podcast with the wrestlers because he's down to earth being himself, and he's actually not a bad person
Mm,
when he's just being normal.
that's debatable. But, like the
Trying to
Paul brothers, they're just so obnoxious.
I'm
Like
trying to
I
throw him a bone. I'm
I
trying.
mean I
I hate
respect
him.
their hustle though, because
Yeah,
they've made a name for themselves.
yeah, yeah.
That's what I would say. Logan Paul is just a really good wrestler, man. Like there are people who hate him, and it's like you can hate him as a personality, but you can't hate on his ability.
No,
Like
not at all.
he can go. He can go. He's pretty good in the ring.
And then we get to the main event of the night, and then Kenny and Matt had a little bit of a conversation earlier. I missed some of it. I'm sorry, guys. So we have Bianca Belair in her homemade referee outfit.
Yes.
Look, the girl's got skills with a sewing
Bu-
machine, no doubt,
she is blessed. That's
no
what I will
doubt.
say.
And we got Io versus Rhea. Um, I I have a hard time saying the word botch anymore because I'm a chubby guy sitting on my couch watching these incredible athletes. If you slip in a ring and I'm going, ha ha, ha, you botched that, let me eat some more chips.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
get it, but you're also live. Shit can go wrong. There were some spots that weren't perfect in this match, but they told a good story. Again, I just don't. I don't need Rhea in this. I love Rhea, but I don't need her in this. Io versus Bianca would have been phenomenal on its own. I think.
I agree, but Rhea right now has been built as the female Terminator. Like she just and Bianca her Twitter game is so funny because she just points out like why is she in it? Like why is she here? Like that
Yep.
and she's right. She's like, why are we even entertaining this? Like she just came down and signed a contract. That means she's just automatic because she's Rhea Bloody Ripley. She just
Mhm.
comes down, she can do whatever she wants. And she's right. Like there are
Yeah.
people who are saying that Bianca's forced. Rhea's just as forced.
Yeah.
Like EO, honestly, they just threw her in there. She's just like they're forcing all three of these women into a collision course that I'm gonna really enjoy watching because they're three phenomenal wrestlers.
I no doubt this match is going to be great. And I agree,
Mm,
Kenny, the match was sloppy,
it was.
but the three of them are going to put on a great show. Io and Bianca could have put on a great high flying match, the two of them, but adding Rhea to the mix, it is going to make a good match
Mhm.
because Rhea can stand with Bianca. Bianca can stand with Rhea as far as brute force because Bianca is a savagely strong woman.
The strongest.
Yes.
That's
And Io, the genius in the sky, and it's the three of them will mesh really well together. It just feels like there's not a lot of one-on-one matches on this WrestleMania. It feels like there's more twos and threes and fours kind of a thing that you know.
I mean, okay. So would you rather more triple threats in four fatal four ways or another Andre the Giant battle royal? Because that's how they're getting people on WrestleMania. Is to get like that's why I respect it.
You
I
put it in
respect
that
but
point, you put it in that point of view, Yes, I like the triples and the fours better than the battle royal taking up a half an hour time where people are just kinda stumbling around a ring and laying there for a couple minutes while this guy gets his you make a better point. I didn't look at it that way.
I just thought because people have like the thought of Rhea Ripley, because it's too late for her to have another story with anybody else. Like when she lost the title, and that's why I said when she lost the title, that's the only way to get Io Sky into the WrestleMania match was her. Because if Rhea would have beat her, just like no, you just go to the back of the line, and the only way to get that 3-way was for Io to win that match, and the
So
way they it made no sense because Bianca really didn't do anything. She just stood there and clapped for her. And then, like Rhea made a big deal of that. Like that was the end of her. Like, you were my best friend. No, y'all were never best friends. Like, you're not Jade. You're not Naomi. Like, but
yeah.
I thought I thought it was pretty whimsical how they got to, but I'm happy we're getting there because I want to see this triple threat.
I'll be happy, I'll be happy with it when I watch it. I don't think I need 3 nights, Kenny. I think 2 is a lot. Um, but who becomes the heel out of the 3 baby faces? Like Matt said, it is 3 baby faces. Do we get the Bianca turn finally, or does Bianca stay as a face? Rhea's not turning anytime soon. And
No.
Io, I don't think anybody cares if she turns or not. She's
Yeah.
just a great wrestler, but she doesn't have enough she doesn't have enough aura to be good or bad right now.
I don't agree. I think there's a fan base that loves Io
Oh,
Sky.
yeah.
Like she has a huge fan base, and I can't say that I'm one of her biggest fans, but I do respect everything she does in the ring. I think Bianca's been playing a tweener for the last few months. Like
Right.
she's kind of like she's not doing babyface things, but she's also not doing heel things. Um, I don't think they turn it yet because that actually would make sense because then she could help Naomi win because Naomi needs to beat Jade Cargill, which
Yep.
we'll
Yep.
get into as we talk about WrestleMania. We're 2 weeks away from WrestleMania, and that was the main event. We still haven't officially got the triple the announcement. Like Adam Pearce hasn't said that's official
No.
on the triple threat. It's still right now Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, but I'm looking at the WrestleMania card, and there's not a lot of matches here. We got 2 nights, and that could be a good thing because if you were in Philly last year, like you were, those were long days. The
Yeah, they
first
were.
night was extremely long and it was cold.
And it
The
was
second
raining.
night was extremely long and it was better weather, but it was extremely long. Like sitting at home, I wasn't privy enough to go see it, but sitting at home, I was like, man, it was like 5 hours per night.
Yeah, it
That's
was long.
insane.
It was that so right now, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 matches announced,
Mhm.
okay? You
That's
have
one night.
that's a night right, but so you got Cody Cena, that's gonna close night 2, they already said that. You
Yes.
got Reigns, Punk, Rollins, that's gonna close night 1, so there's a match on each card.
Mhm.
Gunther versus Jey, that's gonna open up the whole thing, I think. That's gonna be your first match. Like last year, Seth Drew opened up night 2.
Yeah.
That's gonna open
Mhm.
up night 1 or 2, I think.
Mhm.
Io versus Bianca is gonna open up the other night, I think. I think both of those championship matches will be an opener.
I could see that. I could see
Um,
that.
and then you have Tiffany versus Charlotte. I don't know where you put that. Um, AJ versus Logan Paul, you can put that on second. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. I mean, they could potentially steal whatever night they're on.
Yep.
Because I mean, AJ still can go. AJ still like AJ doesn't get the credit for being the phenomenal wrestler he is. Once again, I
Now,
keep using that word, but he's great, and so is Logan Paul. The build for this match hasn't been great, but they're gonna put on a great match.
and the
Like I
last
don't think
match that they have announced is Orton versus Owens. So there's a lot of matches. I mean, Drew versus Priest hasn't been announced yet, but that's going to be a match,
that's
right?
definitely gonna be a
That's
match.
going to be a match. Um, AJ Logan was announced. They haven't announced the Intercontinental match yet officially. That'll probably be this week or next week, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Cause
that's
cause Dom, cause Finn said he was gonna go talk to Pierce,
mhm.
and then Liv said she was gonna go talk to Pierce after Finn talked to Pierce, which was pretty funny.
And then
So yeah,
we have the US belt that's either gonna be LA Knight versus Braun versus Jacob, or add Solo and make that another four-way match, throw in some kind of weird, make it a street fight, make it a something match. That is a street fight would rock, right?
yeah, for sure.
Um,
And then we could get a stare down between Solo and Jacob, and that'll be great. And
Naomi versus Jade, that can't just be a straight up match. There's gotta be some fuckery involved in that match.
yeah, that man, that'd be like a great last woman standing match, man.
Yep.
Like I could see that.
And
I don't see the rear view putting somebody out to count to 10, but I mean that'd
no,
probably put me out to 10, but
and
it's another story for another day.
do you give the do you give the women's tag match a match? Do you give them
Oh my god.
right? You got
No.
them. You got the men's tag belts, the Street Profits. They don't have a match on it. You got the War Raiders match that they don't have. You got the Intercontinental match for the woman. Do you put all the championships on there? Do
You
you
should.
and Chelsea Green? Like, I'm just
Y-
scrolling over a handful of matches. There's a lot of things. Sami Zayn doesn't have a match.
I think Sammy's out. I think they wrote Sammy out.
That's
I
fine.
don't think he'll be back till after WrestleMania because
That's
I mean
fine.
it's too late for him to build a match now. I mean, then again, you could throw him in the Intercontinental title match and I'll be happy because it's Sami Zayn. Like he makes any match he's in better. But I see SmackDown having like a fatal four-way tag match that everybody goes to use the bathroom for. Um, I see New Day versus War Raiders, another like throwaway match. Um, they are teasing, they're teasing Liv and Raquel versus Bailey and Lyra, which makes absolutely no sense.
No.
Then Chelsea said that she was gonna like they were thinking about the tag team titles or something. Some team on SmackDown said that they were thinking they wanted to call out I think it was Chelsea. I think it was the Secret Hervis, which once again makes absolutely no sense. And this is all to get people on WrestleMania. So if they have multi-man tag matches and stuff like that, I mean, those are bathroom break
And
matches.
where's Joe Hendry? When does Joe Hendry come out? Because he's going to be in Vegas. So when does Joe
No,
Hendry come out?
for NXT, I don't. He'll probably be a stand and deliver. I don't
No.
foresee him being on WrestleMania.
War Raiders versus New Day will be great until Jeff Hardy comes out with his brother Matt.
God no. God. You want to see a person turn off a TV quick and then turn it back on right like 2 minutes later to let them get out the ring. But boy, I
I'll
turn
see
that off.
I'll see Kenny type in the chat. Just let me know when the Hardys are gone, please. I'll be back.
I hate. Oh God, I hate the Hardys. Like
I
at
know.
this point, in their career. But I mean, there's a lot of matches still out there. I'm trying to think of their debut on Ray Phoenix the week before WrestleMania. Why? Aleister Black, they keep doing these promos for him. Like, why do that before WrestleMania? I think he's not going to debut or after WrestleMania. And then they just signed Rusev back, Miro, the head case that who is Miro.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, the future's looking bright in the WWE. There's a lot that they could do after WrestleMania. I feel like WrestleMania is gonna build some good stories for Backlash because John Cena will not be there. He will take that title and he will go home. But I don't want them to do it like a World Heavyweight Championship title tournament to crown
No.
the new champion with a new belt
With
and
a spinner belt?
it, they're gonna do that though because he keeps talking about the toy belt. He's not saying all this stuff in jest. Like they are gonna do that, and it's gonna be just like him and Punk, where you got the real heavyweight champion versus the fake heavyweight champion, and
It but if
God,
he goes, that means he's gotta go for more than a month. He can't just go for a week or 2 and come back. He's gotta go and make and he's
like SummerSlam.
but he's booked for he's supposed to do like 30 shows this year. So he
Yeah,
really can't take the belt and leave for
I
a
mean,
long
yeah, because it's May, right? It's April. We're in April. I mean, he
right.
could take it to like September. Like he really could.
That's a
Because I
long
mean,
ass
people
time to
don't.
be away.
Roman took like 5 months off in between title defenses.
That's a
So like,
travel cheat.
I mean, so it's not.
He
It's
also
not
has he also has
unfounded.
tribal leukemia.
I mean, he did, but he still was the heavyweight
No, he
champion. Like he
was.
still was the undisputed world heavyweight champion. So him going away for a while, like I said, as long as he stays active on social media, I don't think and like Cody is gonna show up every week and he's gonna call him out every week, and it's gonna get kind of old. By the time it really gets old, then they're gonna have their match. Or it might be Punk, or it could be Roman. Whoever wins that WrestleMania matches it should be the next person to fight John Cena.
38.
And Punk is great. I think Punk versus Cena is a money match in Chicago would be great.
Okay. So if John Cena wins the belt and leaves, April 21st on to the end of the year, there's 36 Mondays left.
That's a lot of Mondays.
That is a lot of Mondays, but you can't leave for more than 5-6 Mondays. You gotta come back to
What
build up other because he's
what
not gonna just fight Cody. He's gotta there's other matches that he's gotta, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
No, I'm telling you, SummerSlam. SummerSlam
A
is if he
long
wins, it is a long time. But once again, we've had like this is not unseen. When's the last time the War Raiders fought? Like they
That's true, but that's not your centerpiece belt. And this is your retirement year. And
I don't know. I mean
what does
he
Cody
does.
do if Cena goes away? And I say he goes back to AEW.
Man, Cody has so many matches he can have. Like, because Cody, he does need to be around the title because I feel like if he's not around the title, he's gonna get small again. Like, and what I mean by that is he
He
the
shines with
title is
a
making
star.
him. Like
Yes.
the title's making him. We can say what like he got big because he fought Seth Rollins. If he would have fought anybody else, I don't think he tore his pec. He had that great Hell in a Cell match that main
That,
evented when it probably should not have main evented.
that was one of Vince's last best moves was bringing in Cody and putting him up against Seth Rollins. That was one of his last best moves.
It
And it's
was.
paid dividends for him.
It
Well,
did
paid dividends for Triple H.
because he has a the applause, like the cheers that Cody got when his music hit on Monday.
Yeah.
It hit different. I was like, oh man, this
What if
like he gets cheers everywhere he goes, but I mean it was deafening. Like
yeah.
he really a lot of that has to do with John Cena being the most hated person. But I mean, he
Now
really did.
this might put a little tar on my resume, but on my writing for WWE resume. But what if Cody loses the belt and goes into such a depression he falls back to Stardust?
No, please no. Don't do that. Turn into the home. Go heel. Like if he lose the
He
belt,
should.
then sell your soul.
He,
Then like become the Cena's lackey. I would buy that before I
he's already the
like
chauffeur.
exactly. Yeah, his show that was great. Oh man, what a great promo. But we've been on for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We've talked about some matches. We've talked about some dream matches because somebody mentioned a dream match between man. Where was that? Where
Liv
was
and
it?
Alexa. And Alexa's not even
Live,
going to be at WrestleMania 40. And there's rumor is she might not be wrestling anymore.
I really wanted to see that match.
Me
I
too.
think that like Timu, Alexa Bliss, Liv Morgan. I'm gonna stop saying that. But until they have the match, I probably will keep saying that because I want that match to happen. I think that'll be a great match because they're very, very evenly matched.
Listen,
And they're
most young men from ages 12 to me want to see Liv versus Alexa. Okay?
this is all true. All true.
Because Matt said he's gonna smoke some ribs for night one. We're gonna watch it at his house. Matt's got a nice in-ground pool. T, you and Kenny are both invited. I'm putting the invite out because it's Matt's house, but it's my pool too. I say it that way.
I don't want to get tased. I saw the picture. I don't I don't want to get tased.
No, that's not the Tay's house. That's where we'll be Sunday night for night two. That's the Tay's house.
But on that note, we're gonna get out of here. Now, once again, Matt, Kenny, thank y'all so much for showing up. You guys always show up. You guys always support, and y'all bring up amazing points, and y'all keep the conversation going. And that's what we're here for. We're here to have a great conversation about the one thing that we love in life, and that's wrestling. And we appreciate you guys. You guys are definitely on the Island of Relevancy. From the bottom of my heart, I can't thank y'all enough because y'all really do keep this thing going. And thanks, Ace. Thanks for showing up, sending in everyone from the Ace Avenues channel. If you got some time, if you want to watch a 27-time World Series champion, go ahead and go over to the Ace Avenues channel. He is now live streaming and calling the Yankees game, the world's greatest baseball team, the only baseball team that matters.
He does a good job.
He does a great job. So definitely go over there and check them out. But until next week, hopefully I will see. I'll probably be from a hotel in San Diego. Your boy's going on vacation. But I do want to do this because I want to lead up to WrestleMania and talk a little bit about Dynasty and probably Swerve Strickland bleeding all over the place. But yeah, we'll catch you guys next week. And let's see if the sound works this time, Frank.
You can make sure you go see Geek Spot News on Monday night too.
For sure.
Me and Jack.
For sure.
Because
I'm always... I do live in... Where's the sound at? Let's see.
Monday at 7. Geek Spot News.